Welcome back, guys. So, where we last left off, we were about to add on to our little slice of heaven here. Now, we took up votes inside the thread, and we came out with 3 pretty strong winners and a straggler pretty close in 4th. Firstly is the bank. Just 1,500 florins. We've got plenty. Next was the blacksmith, but we already have tier 1. You see tier 2 and 3, they got a little pricier. So let's get the brothel for 3,000 and we'll work up the 7,000 to get the blacksmith. And it shouldn't take us too long, I don't think. Now, first thing is first. Let's step on outside. You'll notice the value indicator right there for a moment. So, first up, we've got collectibles. It is time for me to get to collecting those darned feathers, but Monteregione has something a little extra, and I'm just going to be skipping around to these. What Monteregione has is statues. They come into play after we've collected all of them, so you can't really see them right now. They're pretty glowy. But we'll be collecting all of them within the next couple of minutes. With that said, we're going to collect them and the feathers in fast forward mode. So, while we're collecting all this stuff, I want to cover something. A fellow coming up, at least in the next video, is going to be of pretty major importance to the plot at this stage, and I need to give a little bit of insight as to who he was and what was going on. The finer details surrounding his escapades will be in a series of segments following the next few episodes. Anyways, the gentleman in question is named Lorenzo de' Medici. If you recall, Giovanni, Ezio's old man, worked under him. Giovanni turned up some dirt on the Pazzi following the plot against Sforza, as indicated by the letter at the end of the second video, and was following it up. Lorenzo is one of the real-life figures in this game, though Ubisoft doesn't really nail his personality in my opinion. More on that later, of course. This is just a quick and dirty peek into who he was. Anyway, Lorenzo's family, the Medici, formed a banking service at the end of the 14th century. By the time the family got into its groove, the Medici Bank was the largest and one of the most respected banks in all of Europe. Lorenzo, however, had more of an interest in the political goings-on, and as the saying goes, he who owns the gold makes the rules. Let's get back to regular speed, and I will talk a little bit more about him when we're gathering the feathers in Florence. Now, the statues. We put them on these pedestals, like so. And we get a little bit of cash. Oh, and I guess we can also look at them. Though, as far as I know, outside of a certain pair of these, they aren't really of importance, I guess you could say. The pair I'm referring to, though, I'm not going to get into because that's pretty big spoiler town, I think. So we have 8 statues, meaning 4 stands, meaning we are going to get 2,000 apiece, giving us 8,000 florins. That'll give us enough to get the blacksmithing joint upgraded to its 2nd tier, and it'll leave a little bit left over. And given how the tailor was a close 2nd, or I'm sorry, a close 4th, I decided since it's only 1,000 florins, I may as well spring for it as well. Because in the near future, I'm going to be focusing on getting the weaponry and armor pulled together, which is going to take a little bit of cash on the side. Of course, given all the running around I do off camera, Monteriggioni's going to pull in a fair amount of money in the meantime. It's pretty modest early on, but eventually, once you get fully upgraded, it kind of becomes exponentially crazy. It's a nice mechanic, though. I like it. Okay, that is all 4 pairs handled. Let's head back inside and handle this. So, blacksmith, tier 2. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And as I mentioned before, since it's pretty darn cheap, let's go ahead and grab the tailor, since it was kind of close behind in votes.
Buon viaggio!
Now let's just take a gander at what we've built here. The bank is right here. It doesn't really stand out too much. Hey, we'll see that little indicator come up every 20 minutes or so when we accrue some cash. And we have the standard blacksmith.
Armor fit for an emperor, and the price.
Yeah, let's go ahead and repair. This guy, since we've upgraded, has a fair amount of goodies, and also he is giving us a 10% discount, the 3rd tier giving us 15%. Of course, as we head to other cities, they will have the same general inventory, but if you don't upgrade your own city, then you won't get that discount to whittle away at the total cost. And throwing knives, we really don't need to horse around with that because...
But I didn't think you had the money.
Yeah, screw you. Like I was saying with the throwing knives, we'll be looting people and getting free knives off them.
You may not know you need.
So the tailor, these guys can expand our pouches for holding our medicine uses, which I don't see the point using the money right now. And then we also have dyes. Every single time we change our color, unless we're returning back to assassin white, we have to drop the cash. And some of these don't look that great, others look okay, some just look kind of terrible, but even though this is one of the cheaper ones, I think Tuscan Copper looks pretty nice. So for this episode, we'll be rocking the Tuscan Copper.
Next time, sir.
And it's a little dark, but hey, it's better than being a bright neon pink or something, I guess, so hey, it's serving its purpose. Nice and camouflaged. Now we have 2 more feathers left, but let's zip on over to the southwestern corner so as I can show you the brothel we built. Huh. I expected the red light district to be a little more red lighty. It's a new venture. We'll get some hookers someday. Ezio's already depressed. But yeah, so these feathers, I'm just running through the countryside, so I'm just skipping through this. You really aren't missing much in the way of breathtaking scenery. But I have horses. And we have 1 more feather left in the zone, right up here. So many places to hide it, right? And as for locating the feathers, the maps you come across, or rather, you can find online, sometimes they're a little vague. But the usual best thing is to, number 1, listen for the twinkling sound they make. And secondly, just head to the highest ground. And usually it's a fair bet that it's going to be right up there. And we're heading back. Be sure to pay attention to the date that comes up here. So by this point, it is 1478. It has been 2 years since the shitstorm that Ezio went through with his father and brothers being killed. And things have kind of settled down, but we got some people to stab.
Ezio, you are still alive.
Look at this place. The past 2 years have been kind to you.
But you are not the same at all, are you?
I was hoping you might be able to help me with something.
Anything for you, my friend. Haha! You found another one! How exciting! This one is tricky to break. Clever in its use of ancient languages. Maybe if I just... Oh, it seems to be a manual of sorts for different assassination techniques.
May I see it?
Wait, what's that? It's not so much a design this time, just a series of sketches. What to make of all this? Of course, and why not? What an inspired idea.
Can you make it for me while I try what's in that manual fragment?
Take it. I'll have my assistant set up some dummies for you to practice with. Hey, Vincenzo!
So we skipped ahead 2 years, and it also dropped us right in front of Leonardo's workshop. And on one of those codex pages, it shows us how to go about stabbing folks differently. And we have a few conveniently placed dummies. Now the first one, we're going to be having a little bit of a romp in the hay. Or in the rose petals, whatever you want to call it. It's red, it rustles. Yep. And bam, his body's gone. It's pretty nice, a little situational, but I'll try to fit it in. In my past playthroughs, I didn't really get too many chances to use it. Maybe I just didn't keep an eye out for it. But this next one, this is a favorite of mine. Usually, if some guys see on a rooftop, they'll try to peek over. And you can just use that to take them out. You'll actually see me use it later in the video when some guy spots me where I shouldn't be. And this one, well, very satisfying. All in all, the latter two are very, very useful, and we'll be using them a lot, trust me.
I've done it. Come quickly. Look. Take it. Try it.
Thank you, Leonardo.
Non c'è di che.
There's someone I need to see while I'm here. I cannot approach him publicly. Would you know a way?
La Volpe.
A fox?
Shh.
Capisco. But do you know where a fox might roam?
Perhaps near the Mercato, where the thieves dwell. Sta attento, amico.
So, we can go about collecting the codex pages, and they will be shown visibly on the map after we've used a viewpoint, and something I'm showing here is just what happens if you zoom out all the way on the map. You can see the adjacent zones and all that good stuff. But yeah, codex pages, we can find them on our own just by sniffing around, and there's one in this area that we'll be getting to. And as you find them, you can bring them into Leonardo, and he'll just go through some little brief, scripted sort of cutscene. Nothing really major, but you'll see it in this video once again. Now, first thing is first, we could handle La Volpe, but I want to clean out the rest of this district. Oh. I kind of went to the map a little too fast, I guess. So I have decided to relocate to an undisclosed location. Leonardo gave us, well, it wasn't touched on too heavily, but we have 2 assassination blades now. 2 hidden blades. And that makes us quite a force to be reckoned with. So I reckon a bit of a demo is in order. There's not much fighting in this episode, so let's show the basics off right now. First off, the best part is dual assassination. Lock on one guy and get close to a pair.
If you think
Okay, you're definitely dying now. And double poke.
Last words for your woman.
Now, let's see if I can show off one of the counters. Poke! Yeah, that's nice. Ooh. And let's just take out his little buddies. Sorry, no survivors. You know how it is, protocol and all. Uh-oh, 100%. And I spoke a little briskly, mentioning 100% for these guys. It's 75%. My mistake. But that is handled, so I guess we're off to find us some hidden feathers. Fun times. So I'm gonna knock out the feathers here. Once again, fast motion. And as I was saying before about Lorenzo de' Medici, by this point it's safe to say that given his influence on the purse strings of the city, Lorenzo was basically an unofficial ruler of Florence. You had courts, gonfaloniere, various elected officials, and the list goes on. The thing is, many of these guys were on his side, they were bought over to it, or they were blackmailed. Now, he was all in all, even though he was a politician, he was still a pretty darn good fella, but the thing is, you did not want to get on his bad side. I mean, he would absolutely bury someone who rose up against him if he was pressed on a matter. On the whole, he was pretty brilliant on the political front. The population, for the most part, loved the guy, but his ruthlessness and absolute control of Florence led to him gaining more than a few enemies. One of these enemies was a banking family that played second fiddle to the Medici, the Pazzi. There is, well, I can't go too much further on the Pazzi because we'll be seeing some stuff in the very near future about it. And I will have a series of segments planned on that. And regarding the Pazzi and the bad guys we have as targets, Vieri is not a real person, but all the other people are. Rodrigo Borgia, who we just, was mentioned, he's right at the center of our conspiracy bullseye. He was not involved with this group of people, but he was not a good guy in history. Trust me. So now that we have all that handled, I'm chasing someone here. You see that red blip on the radar? You'll see these little red blips come up indicating people who, well, they're quite nice to kill. This guy is a pickpocket. Or a money bag with legs. He will run and run and run. But I'll catch him and get about 500 florins. Pretty nice, especially early on. Now, the final feather, I kind of chopped up the segment because I wanted to show this off in regular speed. The final one is on top of the Duomo here. And this is probably one of my favorite places to climb in the game for obvious reasons. It's very interesting because the surface of this in-game kind of curves a bit. It's pretty neat compared to the usual flat walls. And I'm kind of surprised that they did not make this into the highest viewpoint in the game, as opposed to Giotto's Campanile, which, as you'll see from where we're going to be in a moment, hi chests, where we're going to be in a moment, the Campanile is just a little bit lower, it seems. I have to look up the actual specs, but this is just a little bit higher over here. Here we go. Ah, that's pretty. Like I said, they could have made this the highest viewpoint. I would have liked it a little more. But hey, whatever. They did a pretty darn nice job of recreating it, I must say. Well, that's all the feathers. Still got some more things to handle inside the zone proper, though. So first things first, let's just get on down here. The easiest way. Now, right here, I kind of lost track of the place where the birds were perched. It's right there, you idiot. And I walk right by it, but you know, in spite of this being a curved surface, I was saying before, I'm surprised there are not any glitches with holding on to up. Ew. I wasn't even holding run, and he just launched right over it. But we're skipping back ahead a little bit to something I was messing around with while gathering the hidden feathers. Just getting me some more money. I can't leave this lying out here. Gotta be respectful of the other citizens. Oh. Hold on a second. Now, with this money, I'm going to buy me a bit of a weapon. Excuse me, sir. I would like your finest weapon.
I heard that! Oh, yes!
Thank you.
Yes!
Improvised weaponry. One of my favorites, the broom. Now, something with improvised weapons, if you try free running or climbing, Ezio will drop it. So there are limitations. But let's demonstrate it. It acts like a big old blunt weapon, meaning it sounds like a bar of metal. Cleaning up the streets. I don't like that hat. Ha, satisfying. Now let's find a guard to demonstrate this on.
A greater gathering of armored nonnas.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm beautiful!
Oh, as you saw before, when you grab someone with a sword, you can slit their throat. Well, with the broom, you can do the exact same thing. What's that, a demonstration? Very well. You there. Come here. Slit his throat with a broom. Whoop. I'm sorry, madam.
There is a killer loose!
Oh, I guess I killed too many people. And this is what happens if you go crazy like that. You get a real freaky rave sort of desync loading screen. But skipping back over, here we are back by the Palazzo Auditore, and I got a database entry on this place. Take that. This right here is an art joint. So at art joints, we can buy paintings, which will essentially pad our city's value. Some of these are a little steep, and some of them are, you could probably afford them. Then you have treasure maps for chests. When you consider that one or two will put you back over the top, it's a pretty good bargain. And I'm not one to beat a joke to death, so, you know, I'll be grabbing some chests here and there. The only issue, of course, is, well, let's go ahead and grab some of these paintings, too. There's an issue with getting those chest icons on your map. It results in some clutter, but we can address that. I'll be showing y'all in a moment. That's too steep. Ooh, pricey. 20. Oh, sure. It must be a pretty terrible painting. And, 500 seems to be my mental cutoff right now. So let's do that, yeah. So just shy of 3,300.
Thank you. Do come again.
Okay, so... yeah, lots of clutter. But we can address this, as I'll show you in a moment. But first things first. I see a pair of chests just south of me. And for some reason, I head up on a rooftop and... uh-oh. Gentlemen, you might want to look away in a moment.
There!
Oh, you don't?
You... that's pain in a place a man shouldn't feel it. But yeah, I was getting my bearings straight, and then I remembered, oh yeah, a pair of chests usually means it's going to be inside of a bank of some sorts. So we can just drop over here on the street level. And this is a bank that does not have the potsy guarding it. We'll come back to this guy in a moment. These are golden chests, so they're going to give us twice the value of usual chests inside the zone. 211. And 206. So you see that already made back for the 360 I spent on the San Gimignano. I forgot the name of the district.
Get this to its destination fast. Really fast. I'll pay you well.
Ah. It's a timed delivery mission. Let's read his stuff. Well, it seems Raphael's got 2 ladies he's chasing after. The one we're going to be chasing after right here is going to be to our direct north. It's a pretty quick run, so I'll leave it intact. I'll skip out the next one's footwork, though. And this is the first letter for the budding young lass. And she's just on the other side of this building.
Oh, grazie.
And the next one, she's obscured under a chest icon. Something we'll be handling in just a moment. So let's skip on over there, I guess. And she's got a bodyguard. No matter. Let's take a look at this gal. Pardon me, madam?
Oh, grazie.
Whoa. That's a little too old for my tastes. Just gonna steal your stuff. Oh. Hey, bud. Have a nice nap.
No part of this evil.
Whoa. Hey. Granny's got moves. Boy. Raphael likes his ladies a little spry, I guess. Who am I to judge? So we've got a codex page in the vicinity, just to the east. Now, let me show you here. We can filter, thankfully, on icon types. You can either select individual ones or completely disable an entire subtype. And by the end of this episode, I'm going to have most of these disabled, because there's some things that I really don't chase after. Yeah. For example, I left on heralds there for a moment. And I don't know why, but I ran right towards the herald icon without thinking. And then I realized Why do I even have the Herald icon on at all? I never use the jerks. But yeah, codex page and a race. Races. Let's just handle this. Should be a quick zip inside. And, oh, me oh my. The codex pages are usually guarded like so. Let me show you something a little fancy. We have our dive type assassination.
The assassin! Get him!
Face plant. Alright, come on, I want your hammer. Give it. One more time. Thank you. And I killed him by hitting him in the butt. That was classy.
Just let me go! I'm nobody! Not important!
These killings know no borders. God will punish those responsible.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Okay, so, race time. Yeah, let me go ahead and turn off all this other fluff. I don't use the stores that much. And heralds, no. Officials and posters, yeah. Yeah, then we'll race. And just have a couple other little things to handle here. A lot of this stuff, like the beat-em-up events and the codex gathering, I'm going to streamline. This is just me showing off the first time around. So if this is dragging out, don't worry. This is just an initial display. Now the race is just a quick jog around the corner. And we've got a new icon, or type of guy, to watch out for. Watch the mini-map here. Here we go. A rude fellow. Observe.
Stay back! Behind!
He pushes ladies around. I don't stand for that. And he's a courier, meaning he's a very large moving money bag. Carries 1,500 florins. But my notoriety got a little too high, so I whittled away at it. While I'm on the topic of notoriety, I think if I dye my clothes, it reduces your notoriety to 0. I think, I forget.
I can outrun anyone in this distretto. I hear you're the best. Prove it.
Here's a database entry. I'll show it after the race. Well, at least it's got a pretty cool song playing. Anyways, as you'll see, I'm not that great at these races, although I did get this on the first try. I don't like races that kind of breadcrumb you along like this, where you grab a waypoint and you immediately have to look around for where the next one is. If it's a chain of them, sure, but in cases like this, there will be points, I guarantee you, where I'll end up overshooting one entirely because I'm looking straight ahead and it's to the left, and I don't react in time, you know. Hi, chest. But yeah, I got on the first try, so whatever. And there's an obnoxious siren. Oh well, just enjoy the music. Ugh. Shit. Yeah, and these sorts of missions, whether it's a actual race like this where you're timed, or something like we see later in the video, if you're timed, they sometimes get it to where if you fall off the roof, then you're probably screwed. But let's read up on these guys. Okay, so let's set on off. We have a beat-em-up event back over by the Palazzo Auditore. And let's get rid of the last little bit of my notoriety here.
Hey, Stronzo! What's wrong with you? Find this so easy forever?
This seems to be a very unlucky place to put guards. I believe there was talk of an experiment in the thread.
There! Merda! On him!
Yep, tackling works. Bye! Okay, so let's move over this away, drop down to ground level, and beat 'em up time.
That faithless husband of mine is cheating. I know it, as do all the neighbors. Please teach him a lesson for me.
And in these sorts of missions, they give you a bit of a kind of a circle on the map for some strange reason, not saying exactly where he is. And he's directly in the middle of that. Alright, get tough with the guy.
The Jew! He's there! You won't get away!
And he's no Ducho. Take that, Cam Clark. Yeah. Pretty boring.
Leonardo! She wins! I give up! That bitch! I mean, wonderful wife of mine! I'll go home!
I don't think he's learned his lesson quite yet. Hold on. We're not done here. Just a little bit of civilian brutality. Man. He can take a punch.
Bring it on!
Alright, that's good enough. Not quite. Okay, we're good. So our next stop, let's turn in that codex page as our last little thing to do before proceeding. So let's just head on over north, and I'll show you the little cutscene that I was referring to previously.
Leonardo.
Ezio, so good to see you. How can I help you? Haha! You found another one! How exciting! Is this an inverted Caesar shift? If I just substitute these letters here, I've got it.
And there we go. He's translated it. So get ready for a bit of reading on the codex pages. If you aren't up to it, just skip ahead to the time I'm showing at the bottom, and I might talk for a little bit here. But I'm going to go through showing these in the video just in case. And in the thread proper, I'm going to have a, well, you'll see it in the post, but I'm going to have something tacked on where essentially I have each of these pages, if it's text, it's essentially condensed onto one display to make it easier to read. And I'll have screen caps the ones that are diagrams, like this one right here. And as we unlock them, I'll add on to it, and every post you're going to see a more expanded version until we have them all. But this is also kind of just to be safe, because if something should happen to the images I have up, well, there's always this, I guess. And of course there's some interpretation to some of these diagrams, and we'll go over them in the future. But there we go. Got a fair amount of them covered already, so it's a bit of a text dump. Let's see here. We have mission start and a viewpoint I'll end up knocking out. But let me see, where is the nearest blacksmith? Okay, we got one right in front of us. That's good. And I got a little bit of cash on me. That ain't a blacksmith. Here we go. So we're gonna pay just a tad bit more, and let me repair this. Gonna pay just a tad bit more for this here, but I want a maul. If you thought the daggers looked very brutal in how they killed somebody, well, these put those to shame. I love the blunt weapons in this game. They are awesome. Because, like I mentioned in the first game, well, swords are just so darn vanilla and overused, and the ways that you take people out in this, they aren't always that interesting to me. Okay, so we're all set here. Let's just head along to our objective.
State attenti tutti! Tutti i wine merchant non discouraged by people
Not worth the trouble.
Oh, you want to make it worth the trouble?
Ogni volta.
I'm good.
Io come faccio? Ma dai, adesso è impossibile.
That's what I thought.
Come si fa? Per questa gente che non pensa più a quello che fa. Insomma, io che devo fare?
New zone and a bit of a manhunt. Yeah, Rebecca, we get the drift. So we're going to need to make use of our little eagle vision gimmick here. Got the guards in red, friendlies in blue, and our target's going to be gold. Got a bunch of guys on ground level, so no monkey business. There he is. No obstacles, nothing in our way. We're good to go. And here comes an obstacle. Well, illegal username of the thread had a request. And I'm happy to oblige. There go a few headbutts. And before I knock this out, there's still that viewpoint in the area I want to handle. Right up there on the high ground. So let's skip forward. It's just one of those regular copy-paste towers. Nothing, you aren't missing much, trust me. And this is also going to be a little bit of a point of reference to where I skip to in a moment, which is right to where we have the little secret thing we're looking for here for the truth. You can see where our target is relative to where we were, and the tower is just off camera to the front right. So they're all in this little corner.
Power doesn't die. It's passed on.
And this is a tie-in to the previous truth thing. Just like he said, it doesn't die, it's passed on. This is supposed to show where the apples from the previous series went to. And there's some stuff that I'm going over here, and I will cover more in one of the future segments, because there's a little bit to discuss, of course. And the apple is pretty straightforward. It's right here on the table. This one gave me a hell of a time. For some reason, I couldn't remember exactly where it was, so I had to look it up real fast. It's just really hard to spot. You'll see. There. I remember hating this one. And this next one for Gandhi is pretty straightforward. It's just on the end of his staff. There we go. And we have all of our stuff handled for this.
What? My pouch.
Oh,
my money.
your money. I don't have your money.
Cam Clark
Back
again.
here.
Make me.
Alright.
I really have no interest in hurting you. So give me back my money and we'll call it even.
Not so fast.
What do you want? Who are you?
They call me many things. Murderer, tagliagole, thief. But you may call me La Volpe. At your service, Messer Ezio.
How do you know my name?
It is my business to know everything in this city. Isn't that why you're here?
Indeed. I need to find someone. To know where he'll be before even he does.
Who?
Francesco de Pazzi.
There's word on the street of a caravan just arrived from Roma. A secret meeting at sunset tonight. You can learn something of Francesco's whereabouts there.
Do you know where it is to be held?
Ma certo. Let me know when you are ready, and we'll go. Ah, yes. Here is your money.
So we didn't need to find him, he found us. That makes it a little convenient. He's just on the ground floor, but there's a viewpoint it whisked us over to right over here. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. And there's a prompt for Santa Maria Novella, but that is a little ways off, so I'll bring up the database entry when we're actually in the ballpark. Not really sure why it toggled so very far away, but whatever. But it is straight ahead of us, right there. And we'll be heading over that way in the next mission, so to speak. Let's just spring on down. Ooh, really gotta work on that.
Follow me. But we must move fast. Think you can keep up?
Nessun problema.
And I have no idea why he seems to think we need to hurry over here exactly. Unless it's supposed to be closing in on dusk, I guess, maybe. Yeah, let's go with that. But for what looks to be an older gentleman, he moves pretty damn well.
What are you doing back there? I said to keep up with me.
Well, it's another race, and it doesn't even have cool music. Much like the other race, if you fall off the roof, then you're pretty much screwed. This is my second attempt here, and what happened before was I fell off the roof, climbed back up, and Ezio didn't want to climb back up on the roof. He was just in a picky spot. It took enough to my time to where I was really far off from finishing. But once again, as you'll see, it's got a bit of a narrow time window.
Until this renegade is flung from the window of the Signoria, no one shall know who peace in this street up.
Here we are. Francesco Di Pazzi is meeting his people inside that church.
How do I join them?
There are catacombs that run under the city. They will lead you to a place where you can eavesdrop on the meeting. Grip that stone handle. Turn it, then slide it down.
Thank you for all your help, Volpe.
Buona fortuna.
So, there you have it. We have a bit of a secret passage to take, and it'll take us straight into the catacombs. Now, the Santa Maria Novella. Let's get a little bit of a better spot so we can read the database entry on it. There we go. And pose.
We must destroy this blasphemer.
And I'll talk a little more about it in the next video, of course. Whatever. Okay, we just gotta spring on over here. A lot of guards around, of course. But our throwing knives make this just a little bit easier. There we go.
You're not supposed to be here.
Have a present. And we got some unassuming people on the benches here. Don't mind me, folks, just using a fancy secret passage. You've seen nothing. And there you have it. Now we gotta go spy on the bad guys. But we'll leave that for next time. See y'all then.